for either 120 years after its creation or 95 years after its publication, whichever one comes first. Fun fact, that Copyright Term Extension Act from 1998 was actually nicknamed the Mickey Mouse Protection Act, because Disney was one of the primary companies lobbying hard to get that thing passed. I'm gonna choose to believe that they offered everyone who voted in favor of it a free trip to Disney World. So, is Disney just gonna roll into town and pay off the American government to extend that copyright again like they did before? Well, no, probably not, and for a few reasons. First of all, with control of the US House, Senate, and White House split between parties, not a whole lot is getting done in Washington these days. Secondly, one of those major political parties ain't too big of a fan of the mouse these days, so if you think you're getting any of them to back a bill that would directly benefit the company, better think again. Lastly, and probably most importantly, it's not 1998 anymore. The times, they are changing. Back then, when the internet was young, information sometimes took a while to travel. People couldn't easily look up the entire world's worth of information with a Wikipedia search. Corporations like Disney putting all this pressure on Congress to extend copyright, that could be done under the table. But now, if Disney tried anything shady like that, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, and TikTok would be all over them in a heartbeat. We're talking about a company that used to sue daycare centers for having unauthorized murals of Mickey and friends in the 80s. But nowadays, in 2020, when an elementary school screened a legal copy of The Lion King as part of a fundraiser, Disney tried to fine them for it, only for the internet to blow up in a righteous fury, forcing the mouse to apologize and CEO Bob Iger to personally donate to that fundraiser instead. The power dynamic has shifted. So if Disney either won't or can't extend the copyright again, is that it? Are we going to be seeing horror movie knockoffs of Mickeys and Donald Ducks and Goofies popping up everywhere next year, just like we did with Winnie the Pooh? Is everyone going to own iconic characters like Mickey Mouse and Superman? Well, not exactly. See, when a work enters the public domain, that doesn't mean that every iteration of everything in that work also enters along with it. It's only the content in that original work as it existed in that original work. So, looking at Pooh Bear, the only stuff that's entered the public domain right now are the depictions of Pooh, Piglet, Christopher Robin, and all of their friends from the very original 1926 book by A.A. Milne as they existed in that 1926 book. And there's some pretty significant stuff missing from that work. One big one, Pooh's red shirt. It wasn't added to the character until 1932 for an RCA picture record, a full 6 years after the character debuted. That means you won't be clear to use a cute little red shirt on your public domain Pooh Bear murder movie until January 1st, 2028. This is actually why the Pooh in Blood and Honey has a red flannel shirt with overalls instead of a red shirt that's 3 sizes too small. In fact, if you watch the movie, you might have noticed one of our fuzzy friends missing from the 100-Acre Wood. While Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, Rabbit, and Owl all make an appearance, Tigger was nowhere to be found, because he didn't debut until 1928 in the book The House at Pooh Corner, so he won't be in the public domain until January 1st, 2024, just in time for the sequel to Blood and Honey. Wouldn't even surprise me. Winnie the Pooh 2, The Bloody Bouncing Buddy. And this goes for everything else that we've talked about so far. Sure, when stuff like The Hobbit hits public domain, you can use Bilbo and Gandalf and Smaug and Middle-earth in the official Hobbit fanfiction that you've been shipping away.